Please welcome Chairman and CEO, Automation Anywhere, Mihir Shukla.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning and welcome to Imagine. Whether you are joining us here in Austin or thousands of you watching on a webcast, we are thrilled you are here with us. This year was a year of unprecedented collaboration with you all, our customers. We worked together on hundreds of capabilities and groundbreaking AI innovations. This year, 98% of you have chosen to be on our latest product releases. 98%, that's an incredible number. It shows how eager you are to use our AI innovations. Now, majority of you have started leveraging our Gen AI capabilities. We know that because we today process 315 million AI actions on our platform. 315 million. You all must like AI and Gen AI. Thank you for your collaboration and your trust in us. I know many of you have joined Imagine before, but this year, the Imagine is at an unprecedented level. At this Imagine, we have 50% more customers sharing their stories on the main stage, in breakout sessions, in community sessions, and with partners. If you take a look at a sample of some of these industries, in financial services, we have 4 customers presenting and 40 of some of the largest banks in the audience. Together, some of the top 5 banks of our customers collectively have customers, 350 million of them. That's the size of United States population. If you look at in healthcare and life sciences, we have about 5 customers presenting their stories and about 25 of some of the most trusted healthcare brand here. Our top 5 healthcare customers collectively process 3 billion claims. Take a look at manufacturing, for example. We have 5 well-known brands presenting their stories and about 30 more in the audience. Together, the customers here produce 2 out of 3 chocolates in the world. That's my favorite. And they make 4 out of 5 smartphones in the world as well. I'm pleased to say I could go on. But this is probably the most amazing part of the Imagine. Across 18 different verticals, hundreds of customers come together and share their stories. And we get to see how I get to see, you get to see, how world in front of our eyes is transforming through their lens using AI and automation. What a wonderful opportunity. Now, inspired by the last year's Imagine, we have many more stories of customers achieving over $100 million in benefit. And wait, we are raising the bar at this Imagine to a next level. We are going to showcase how the combined power of AI plus automation. The real power of this technology is to combine those 2 things together. It makes 1 + 1 = 11. And to showcase what that power represents, we are going to demonstrate how easy it is to do this. So obviously, we thought of something crazy. This year, 20 customers who came here yesterday with a specific business problem will work on the Imagine floor with our platform, trying to solve the problem they have with the power of AI and automation. And in just 2 days, they will have a working solution that is ready to be implemented, just in 2 days. You know, when we had this idea, we thought it is crazy. But many of you offered help, and here we are. Now, together, we are accelerating time to value all the way to 2 days, because these are unprecedented times. These 20 customers will not only develop these solutions, but on the second day, they will share with us what they have developed. Live demonstration of the capabilities. Could I request a big round of applause for these amazing customers who have volunteered to do that to benefit us all? As I said, we are moving at an unprecedented pace because these are unprecedented times. We are at a turning point in how businesses will operate. A completely new operating model for our businesses with the power and the promise of artificial intelligence. You may have heard about it. I know these days you can't go anywhere without hearing about AI. There have been 5,618 AI startups in the last 2 years alone. And there is a ton of noise. And the opportunity and the promise of monetizing, capitalizing on AI is intense. In the last 6 months, I'm fortunate to have hundreds of discussions with CXOs and board members, heads of states, AI leaders, and thousands of practitioners. And what I've learned from them is that for them, every tech vendor sounds the same to them. And they are not clear how to get the transformative power of generative AI. So I thought in the next 30 minutes, I'll share this experience and tackle some of the big questions head on. These are the questions you will likely get asked by your CXOs and boards. They represent insights from hundreds, if not thousands of conversations. So let's get started. The very first question you could possibly get is that is Gen AI and AI overhyped? Has anybody heard of that question before? Right? We hear so much about it everywhere. Now, Gen AI is in its first couple of years of evolution, roughly where internet was back in 1995. Now, at that time, some internet companies were overhyped and some were underhyped. But in hindsight, we can all agree that internet as a technology and its power to transform businesses and our lives was underhyped, right? Today, a few trillion-dollar companies, some of the largest companies on the planet, exist only because of internet. It has transformed many industries from retail, media, payments, and I can go on. I would tell you the same is true for Gen AI and AI. Today, as a technology, Gen AI and AI is underhyped. I know, you heard it right. It's underhyped. Today, one company, NVIDIA, is just starting, right, the category, is a $1 trillion company because of AI. In years to come, you will see companies that are $1 trillion companies only because of AI. And they are going to transform every industry. They will append the current industry leaders who we have come to know. The question is, will you be part of it? Will you be one of the leaders? This is an ultra-transformative technology. It is redefining the entire stack from a computing to a cognitive revolution. The entire stack from CPU, GPU, servers, applications, and now AI agents. The entire computing platform as we know it is being redefined. If we undermine the power of this technology, we do so at our own peril. Okay? Now that we've settled that in, the next important question is, then where are the exponential benefits to my business? I can see many people doing various things, from using it to generate research reports, generating marketing content, summarizing meetings, and all of that is good. But where is the enterprise level impact? These questions are spot on. These are the questions you are going to get from your CXOs. We can't get an enterprise level impact one app or one person at a time. Now, personal productivity is wonderful, but it is not groundbreaking. I will tell you this with certainty, that the greatest value of Gen AI and AI is in getting work done and how businesses will transform. What we need is a new way to put Gen AI to work across enterprise processes, departments, and people. It needs to be safe. People need to be in charge of critical decisions. And it needs to be usable by everybody and not just data scientists. Okay? So now we said the biggest impact of Gen AI is in enterprise productivity. What is the best way to put AI to work? Those are the right next questions. I think first we need to deploy AI in the correct way. What I mean by that is we need to think through and not use our muscle memory to deploy AI like every other software we have deployed before. If you think about it, how our organizations operate today, how work happens today, there are hundreds of collaboration and productivity tools, and there are thousands of business solutions. We call them system of records that host lots of data. And we have many people we use them as a connective tissues. Now, contrary to belief, users spend only 15% of their time in their primary application. They spend 35 to 50% of their time in about 8 to 18 different applications getting real work done. That is the nature of work today. Now, if we follow the muscle memory, we would use AI everywhere in the silos. This would offer some benefit, but let me poll an audience. How many of you think that this is the best use of AI, using AI in every silo, living how we work the same? Can I get somebody raise hands? How many think this is the right way to solve it? Not any so far. This picture looks more complex than before. And what could go wrong with more complexity, right? Not anyone. Not surprised with this audience. If we have learned one thing from manufacturing, is that silos don't work. It is about improving the throughput of the entire assembly line, right? The siloed approach hasn't worked for IT either. Now, here is an interesting piece of data. If you look at the productivity chart, since 1986, our productivity has steadily improved until 2008. It took less and less people to produce $1 million of revenue. And that was a big revenue driver. It took about 7.8 people in 1986, and it took about 5.1% to produce that revenue in 2008. Now, during the last 15 years, if you take a look, in the last 15 years, we have invested $40 trillion in order to operate our businesses better. And what do you see? We have achieved more compliance, but it has done little to improve productivity. It takes the same 5.1% to produce $1 million in revenue. How could that be? Many of our IT projects are showing green, right? It is because we continue to invest in silos, and we think somehow that will improve the throughput. If we put this amazing new AI technology in old bottles, some very old bottles, we will have similar outcomes. We have to be able to reimagine how work happens when a new technology comes. So what do we need to do to move forward? We have the opportunity to rethink how work happens, not deploy in silos. Silos are the destination. We need to follow work. We need to automate work. We need to automate cross-application workflows and enable our people to be more efficient. Now, our vision of this future is realized in our AI plus automation enterprise system. Today, you will hear many announcements about our platform. You will hear that we have combined AI and automation and announcing many AI solutions that are easier for you to deploy and create AI agents by your citizen developers and IT developers alike. You will hear that we have some amazing new advanced capability in our automation system. And you will also hear that we have taken our AI capabilities by many, many levels up. We have built tools for governance and control, support for the multiple LLMs. Even you have an ability to combine multiple LLMs depending on your need, and hundreds of other capabilities that Adi, our Chief Product Officer, will share with you later today. But I wanted to draw your attention in one of the capability, which is our version 2 of the Gen AI process model. Earlier this year, in January, we launched the first version of our Gen AI process model that was trained on 300 million processes. And the beauty of our Gen AI model is that it works on top of your choice of foundation model. Hear it how it works. You take a generic foundation model, which is exceptional at generating content, and our model converts it into a specialized enterprise worker that is exceptional at performing work. There are two different problems. With governance, mitigating hallucinations, and ready to work at scale. From a generalist to an enterprise specialist. That's what we all need. And at Imagine, you will hear more about the capabilities of our version 2 model. And here is a heads up. There is a version 3 model coming by end of this year. I will allude to that, what may happen in that too. Now, if you look at the entire platform, its most unique capability is to combine the power of automation and AI together for enterprises. There are things in our lives that we can relate to where the combination of two things is transformative. And we have been saying this for forever, that this is the right answer. Now, you will hear a new term in the industry and at Imagine called AI agents. AI agents is the combination of AI and automation. Finally, everybody is beginning to realize that that is the answer to many of our challenges. It is because the automation has the power to put AI at scale. And AI has the power to allow automation to do much higher level work, things that seem seemingly impossible. The idea is to think of it as like the brain and the body coming together. Right? Let me share an example of how this moves things forward in the real world with some specific examples. Let's say we have to transform a contact center with 10,000 people in it. Previously, we would have learned from operators what is that they do and automated about, let's say, 20% of it. Now, this would have taken us several months and saved a few $1 million to the customers. Transformative? Perhaps. But wait till you hear what we are able to do now. It is very different. Today, we can take 1.2 million tickets that the call center has and feed them into our Gen AI process model. We are not coding exact workflows and every single possibilities. It's very different than before. We are letting the model learn. And because our model already has a deep understanding through 300 million processes how work happens, it is surprisingly learns very, very fast in a matter of weeks. And where it is unclear, it will ask humans to assist. In about 3 to 4 weeks, the model has learned enough where it will assist in 60% of all customer queries. It's incredible, is it not? And out of that, 40% of the queries have no human in the loop. They are fully autonomous. We have decreased the time by 2/3 and the benefit by many, many, many times. This is incredible. The next version of the model that I mentioned will change the numbers this to a 50% full autonomous. You can imagine what a next version of will do and the one after. This is the path. Now this is beginning to sound truly transformative, where SLAs go from 8 hours to 2 minutes. Just incredible outcomes. The impact of AI plus automation will also vary by use cases. Let's look at, we used a front office use case. Let's take a look at a back office use case of tax. Today we can feed complex tax laws to our model, provide it with goals, ask it to follow the law, and find a way to pay the least tax possible. Of course, that's the one thing we can all agree on. And then it can compute the taxes automatically. Exceptions are handled by people, but today 80% of tax calculations can completely happen automatically. And if you think about it, that's not surprising. A large volume of tax laws, where to apply what, is not what human beings are best at. We did the best we could for the longest time, but this is an AI, a perfect job for an AI. Again, we are creating AI applications in a way that we've never done before. We are not coding every single workflow and possibilities. We are letting a model learn. Now, I mentioned earlier that 20 customers have volunteered to develop this AI agents and applications. This is what they would be developing in the next 2 days. Now, what I want to do is I want to invite a few guests on the stage, and let's hear from them what does all of this mean to them. So my first guest represents a company that is well known for their customer-obsessed culture. And in my view, they only do valuable and disruptive things at scale. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome Bratin Saha, Vice President and General Manager of AWS. Bratin, thanks for joining us. Bratin, earlier we were discussing how you don't put new technology in old bottles. Now, think of Amazon. You reimagined internet and many industries along with it. Do you see any similarities with the age of internet and age of generative AI?
That's a great analogy. In fact, when we talk to our customers, we often say, imagine that you were building your company after generative AI was created. What would your company look like?
That's a great way to think about it.
And most of our customers, all of our CXOs basically say, look, I want to reimagine my company.
Yeah.
I want to actually look about how it works in the real world. And some of the analogies you were given were spot on. It really is about reinventing the company, reinventing the way we work and live using this new technology.
Fantastic. I know Amazon has a very broad AI strategy from chips all the way to up. Take us through it. Share with us how you're thinking about it.
Sure. So, we are working back from what customers have been telling us. And as we look at customers, we find that they are approaching generative AI broadly in 3 different ways. So there's a set of customers who say, give me the most optimized infrastructure, which is the chips, Then there's SageMaker as the machine learning service, and we'll go and build and deploy and train models. And they are builders, they want to be able to do the models themselves. Then there is another set of customers who say, give me the generative AI capabilities that I can use to put together applications, And for that, we have Bedrock, where you get all the state-of-the-art models, and you get a lot of other generative AI capabilities like knowledge bases and guardrails and or RAG infrastructure and so on. And so customers come to Bedrock to be able to put their Gen AI applications. And then we have some customers who say, give me generative AI applications so I can just quickly go ahead and deploy it and I can turbocharge the productivity of my employees. So for that, we have Gen AI applications, which is where Amazon Q comes in. And across this entire stack, we are really looking forward, we are collaborating with you, and we are really looking forward to the collaboration of how we can bring a lot of value to our customers.
It's a perfect segue to my next question, which is, we have many years of partnership. Congratulations on receiving yesterday the Partner of the Year award.
Thank you.
I saw the announcement about our Q integrations to the vast joint customer base. How should people think about bringing the collective power of our technologies together?
So, as you were saying, what customers are looking for is how do I deploy generative AI at scale in the enterprise? Very different from deploying demos or anything. And when customers are thinking about at scale in the enterprise, things like privacy and security and the robustness of the entire stack becomes really important. And that is where I think we bring in all of these enterprise robustness capabilities together with the automation capabilities that Automation Anywhere brings in, that provides a real compelling solution to customers. And in terms of the state-of-the-art capabilities, whether it's Bedrock with the latest state-of-the-art models, you can use Bedrock within your own VPC, so you know that your data is secure. You can use Automation Anywhere from within your own VPC. And so customers get a really robust enterprise solution that they can deploy at scale.
Thank you. It's time to go and transform every single industry one more time.
Same here.
Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. Give him a big round of applause. My next guest is one of the largest banks in the United States. It is a 180-year-old bank that has transformed itself into a tech-driven bank. I couldn't be more pleased to welcome Matt Stewart. He leads AI and automation for PNC Bank. Matt, welcome to Imagine. No hugs? I had told him I would embarrass him by giving me a hug on a stage.
He's hugged me twice.
All right. Matt, you and the team have been continue to transform PNC Bank in a way that is unimaginable. It is hard for all of us to transform ourselves, but to transform a 180-year bank is no easy task. And yet you have done some countless examples that I can think of. But the one or two that stayed with me is you have an example of a revenue generation opportunity. Many of us come across opportunities of optimizations and error reductions and compliance and many other examples, customer service. But revenue generation, tell us about that.
So shortly after we moved off of V11 into A360, I started evangelizing some of the new capabilities to people, using words like system of record, system of engagement, system of work. And I presented to a group in our retail lending division, and within a couple of weeks, they came back to me saying, can you solve this problem? They had a third-party loan provider and a very large revenue opportunity that was not going to be able to get done manually. They needed a tool, and I stepped in to play hero for them.
So this is where you needed to process a loan in certain amount of time, or you don't get.
That's correct.
Either you get it or you don't get it.
Yeah. So if anyone here is familiar with auto lending, you know that the faster you can respond, the more likely you are to secure that deal.
Yeah.
Our third-party provider decided that it would be best to set up communications via email. So any updates that came to us from them on contract terms, stipulations, we had to respond to via email. They would send us information, we'd have 30 to 40 underwriters expected to work through this mailbox, not step on each other's toes, research things in multiple legacy mainframe systems, provide updates, and respond as quickly as possible. We got to the point where the business was just telling them, do your best.
Okay. So what was the outcome when you put everything in place? What happened?
So we got started around the end of January. My developer, who was in the audience, helped engineer this with them. We set up a bot that would consume things from the mailbox and do all of the research and downstream updates. And the underwriters only needed to sit in Copilot for Automation Anywhere Copilot. One system, one screen. They would do all of their work. We built this within 3 weeks, and it was ready to go. The team that we built it for was so happy, and they liked the design, that we built a similar one for another communication via email problem that we had.
Fantastic, fantastic. What a wonderful example of how you could generate what I understand to be a very large opportunity for revenue. Let's talk about another example. You wanted to transform the experience in your retail branches, and you have thousands of retail branch and 10,000 plus people. How do you do that?
So while we were in the migration to A360 last year, I noticed that a lot of the things that we were going through in our retail branches, seems like the processes were as old as the bank itself. So we decided, or I decided to go and explain to people what actual transformation means versus automation. A lot of people in the branch would do a set of work, and then the work would go to a back office team as if we mailed it to them. There was no connectivity. And then a back office team would do their jobs. That disconnect meant that you could not impact customer experience with automation because the customer had already left. They're waiting for their stuff to get done. So I introduced the concept of Copilot being that front end that a customer-facing agent could talk to do downstream work automatically and be able to empower them to say to the customer, I took care of you. I evangelized that last year and got some bites. A couple of people came forward, and we had one use case that we were able to roll out into the branches last year that fixed a process that internal audit and compliance folks at PNC identified as being too risky for our customers. We were losing track of important customer data because we were writing it down on paper and faxing it to a back office team.
I remember those
back
days.
office team would respond back to the branch saying, you're clear to open these accounts. They would open the accounts, but all that data is now just lost in a filing cabinet. It was gone. So we built a process that would connect the branch to structured databases in the back office. That front office and back office team were now linked together, and everything stayed continuous and structured.
Matt, this idea of deploying something to thousands of branches and 10,000 people sounds daunting. Sounds like a multi-year project that that you're quite never done.
Yes.
How did it go?
Well, it went well. Way better than they expected.
Okay.
So they came to me in August after I had started doing our evangelism of the new capabilities. And they told us what the problem was, and I said, yes, this is exactly what Copilot can do. Copilot, Automation Anywhere Copilot, and Process Designer, it's perfect for it.
Yeah, nowadays you have to qualify which Copilot.
Yes, I know. You had the first one.
I know.
And then right after I committed to it, they said, by the way, this needs to be done in 3.5 months.
3.5 months?
3.5 months.
Thousands of branches. That's remarkable.
11,500 employees, over 2,300 branches.
Yeah.
We split up into two teams. There was a team that did the development and the design, and then a team that did the employee training and the office of the customer and the experience. And 3.5 months later, we went into a production pilot, vetted everything out with about a dozen branches, and then rolled out to everyone.
I know we are out of time, but I have to ask you, how about change management? There's 10,000 people doing something differently. We all worry about it.
The part that made this so easy to do was that we did not have to break what they were already doing. We just modified it to be more modern and digital. So change management was able to say, you haven't broken the process. This is the same process. You've just improved it.
Fantastic. What an amazing examples. Matt, I know, has many, many other interesting stories to tell. Thank you for joining us. I think what you're looking at is what Amazon and PNC Bank, GSK, Petrobras, KeyBank, and hundreds of other customers are doing, is they are reimagining how work happens. A complete different way to execute work. And take a look at this picture. This is the first time we are sharing this view in collaboration with our customers. We have often seen the work model as a series of slices, right? Stack over stack and how work happens. And sometimes people insert a system of intelligence as another stack. In our view, it's a wrong way to look at it. You don't want a system of intelligence and people doing mundane work. That does not work. In this reimagined work, instead of thinking of them stack over stack and making it more and more complex, you have to think of a vertical stack that goes across the entire systems and processes. And if you look at closely here, it has two sides to it. One that is fully autonomous, and it will continue to improve, right? We know that. And one which is assisted. And that way of thinking allows us to reimagine possibilities. You will find that some of the vendors are conflicted in this model. That is why this model it could be resisted. Because some of the vendors are only improving their platform enough so that their seat-based licensing model is not disrupted. It's a fact. Because this category is disrupting every software company. What we want to offer you is a truly transformative way to imagine this. Because imagine if your competitor did this and operated 50 to 80% faster with a per unit cost of work being 50 to 80% lower. You cannot compete in that model. This is transformative. We looked at example like tax. 80% is fully autonomous. We have to consider that. Now, what can you do with it? You can save cost, but better is to outperform competition in a way that is unmatched. Use it to gain market share, expand market, serve more customers. Take an example of a banking sector alone. Today, banking sector serves only about 15% of the population. Because the 85% of the population, it is uneconomical to serve them. Can you imagine a market where you choose not to serve 85% of the market? And what could happen if you serve that market? I know based on everything you have heard from us so far, you might think that this is about economical impact, efficiencies, customer service, infinitely scalable cloud architectures, and automating things that seemingly seem impossible. It is, to some extent. But I wanted to share something that is close to my heart and the soul of our team. And it is by far the most rewarding part of our job. It is when we meet people whose lives have been impacted by this transformative technology. Take an example. For one of our customers, we transformed a cancer referral process, and that allowed us to save 4,000 lives. To imagine that because some piece of paper didn't make it to the right place at a right time, and as a result, lives were lost, is a terrible thing to imagine. Now, I have had an opportunity to meet hundreds of these people, where their lives were transformed because we reimagined work. And I have looked in the eyes of these people, and I see hope. They're challenging the status quo, the opportunity, the dream to create a better world. Now, there is no better group of people than my next set of guests. I wanted to give everybody an opportunity, the experience to look into their eyes, and hopefully you see what I see. This group of people represents part of our reskilling group that we work with our impact partners. To welcome people from all over the world who are joining us from Japan, from Australia, India, US, and many other countries. I'll give you a second to take a look at them. They are a shining example of courage and determination. Whether they are refugees, displaced and building a new life, single mothers who are supporting their families, or tech job seekers who are looking for an opportunity that is not available in their villages. Every one of their stories inspire us to know that it is possible to bring reskilling revolutions, to make it inclusive and make it work for everybody. It's possible for us to do that. Let's talk to a few of them. I see Spencer here. Spencer, great to have you. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Good. I'm enjoying myself up here on a stage. Spencer, one thing I remember in our conversation is you were a line cook in a burger place, and now you are creating AI and automations. Tell us your story.
Yes, sir. To start off, let me say that I come from a humble background. I went to my local community college, earned my business degree, and at the time I did have to work as a cook to actually pay for those expenses. But once I started working at people's shows, it allowed me to reskill myself, work my way up from an automation developer to a master certified developer to an automation trainer. And now I have the privilege to not only train people around my community, but I can also train people around the world.
Thank you for that story, Spencer. Thank you. Let's talk to somebody else. Azimi, tell us your story.
Thank you for having me here.
My friend.
Before living in Japan, I was living in Afghanistan and working as an academic member in the Ministry of Education. After collapse of the government, my opportunity as a woman was very limited in Afghanistan, and coming to Japan was a great opportunity for me. After coming to Japan, I continued my education and started working in RoboCoop. During that time, I grew my automation skills, and the opportunity enabled me to support myself, my kid, and my partner, and also to train other Afghan women in Afghanistan.
What a wonderful story. What opportunities are you seeing in AI and automation ahead?
As I have a 9-month-old baby, it's a great opportunity for me to have automation skills and to grow my automation skills and work in this section.
Thank you. Thank you. Give her a big round of applause.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all for being the face of this opportunity that is available to all of us and to inspire all of us what is possible. These are amazing people. Let's give them, before they leave us, another round of big applause. Thank you. Thank you very much. I wish we could hear everybody's story. They're so amazing. I wanted to request all of you to join us in making sure that this opportunity is inclusive and it works for everyone. I know Gen AI has immense potential. We know that its biggest impact is in enterprise productivity. And we know that we cannot deploy it in silos. We must deploy it across enterprise processes. And we believe that we have the best AI plus automation platform to put Gen AI to work securely and at its unprecedented speed. We'll know by end of the second day what we could accomplish in 2 days. Now you know what, and here is why. We are entering an age unlike anything we have seen. This is an industrial revolution of unprecedented size and scope that we have only read in our books. Its promise is so enormous that it's sometimes hard to understand its impact on our businesses, our people, and the world at large. The only way to discover them is to start engaging with it. With the power of AI and automation, we have an ability to reimagine work. Not only automate the impossible, but do things that we could never do before. That's always the purpose of technology, not just to make things better and faster, but to do things that you cannot do before. The question is, will you lead this transformation? Will you reimagine your business operating model and how it operates and leverage this amazing opportunity of a lifetime, where people are used in doing what they do best and where they are needed, where their skills and value is immense. The future belongs to those who act now, who are willing to embrace it and imagine the new destination. Everything you need today is available now. You can make it happen today, maybe in 2 days. The future of a better world demands nothing less. The question is, how will you get there? You can walk, you can run, or you can soar. Enjoy the rest of the programs we have planned for you, and thank you.